Man, welcome to the Dreams Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jackie Mitchell, and I have my good friend, Mr. Scott Cloman here. What's happening, Scott? See?
I'm here. I'm here, baby, man. Hey, welcome, everybody. We're gonna take y'all for a ride.
Absolutely, man. So it's been a long time coming. We've talked about this for some time now. 2024 is the year, man. So I want to thank you for the collaboration. I want to thank you for the opportunity to work with you, man. We've been friends for 30 years, bro, and it's been, like I say, it's been solid. And so our first episode, man. So Dreams Podcast is officially launched. So I'm happy to be here, man. Happy to be, co-hosting with my guy. Basically, what we're doing, we're introducing Dreams Podcast. We're going to be a multifaceted, platform. It's not going to just be about sports. It's not going to be just about, the regular stuff. We're going to introduce, ourselves in this particular episode. We're going to introduce Dreams, and then, we'll be back and forth, collaborating, but also just giving messages, giving some guidance, giving some direction. I'm excited. And so for myself, man, I'll dive right into it. As we stated, it is Dreams Podcast. Dreams, acronym for dreams, is DERAMS. So what we're doing with that is discipline, respect, education, accountability, maturation, and success. So that's how dreams derive. For anything that you do, you also understand you got to have dreams, you got to have visions, you got to have guidance, you got to have discipline. So in doing that, that's how Dreams Podcast was derived for me and, Mr. Cloman. I'm excited, man. Can't really explain the excitement, but like I said, it'll come through our message, through our dialogue, through our knowledge. And like I said, as far as that goes, that's pretty much what Dreams is about. Dreams came about a couple of years ago for myself. You and I, we spoke about it. You were okay with it. You kind of gave me a push to say, hey, man, you really like that. So that's what we went with. So that's how Dreams Podcast was birthed, man. So from that, I'll pass the mic over to my co-host, Mr. Scott Clover.
Appreciate it, sir. Like Jackie said, my name is Scott Cloman. Jackie and I go back more than 30 years. He's one of the few people that's never switched up, always stayed solid, and so reason why we're still tight to this day. Just to kind of elaborate a little bit on Dreams and the name, while I fell in love with it, is because I'm a huge advocate on discipline. I remember Mike Tyson said you can have all of the motivation you want. He said if you don't have discipline, you don't have nothing. So you got to be able to discipline yourself in whatever you're trying to accomplish. Respect. First of all, you got to respect yourself, and if you respect yourself, and then obviously you will respect others. Education. I mean, there's no need to even explain that. The more you educate yourself, the better you're going to become. And accountability. That's what it's about, being around people that's going to hold you accountable, being accountable to yourself. That's where growth comes in at. And then maturation, growth. If you're not maturing, if you're not continuing to grow, then what are we doing? And so it's I applaud you, for coming up with that. Always been a scholar and a gentleman. And so they say always, hey, you know what? Iron sharpen iron, and get around people that you can grow from, and like you said, hold each other accountable and grow with. That's a little bit about myself and why I kind of fell in love with the acronym. Obviously, I'm gonna turn it back over to Jackie, and he's gonna talk about his sports career. He tends to be a little bit modest, but this guy, just a dominant athlete, very versatile. Like they say, the more you can do, the more the better your chances of making the team. And so this is a guy where you can put him anywhere, and he gonna make plays. And so played college basketball, college football, which is definitely not easy to do. And just always was a great leader on and off the court or in the field. And I think he was if I'm not mistaken, 3-time All SWAC, 2-time All American. I could be off. So a lot of accolades there. All CFL. I'm surprised they didn't put you in the Hall of Fame yet at Southern, did they?
But honestly, Scott, thank you for that. But yeah, I'm getting inducted this year, man.
Oh, for real?
I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
so when is the introduction? I mean, when you get in?
It's November the 15th, man.
Oh,
I got the call. I wasn't gonna say nothing. So if you didn't bring it up, I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was
oh, I got it. Oh yeah, I'm in there. There it is. It is. I got it. Oh yeah, I got to be there for that one.
Please,
That's
man.
what's
You're
up.
more than welcome, brother. More
That's
than
what's
welcome.
up. That's what's
Yeah.
up, man. But yeah, man. I want to turn it over to you. You can kind of talk about how you got involved in sports, what sports did for you, and kind of in your career in a quick summary.
Quick summary, man. I started playing. I've always played football. I've always played baseball. But football was in the hood. I didn't play organized sports. For basketball, I've been playing basketball as long as I can remember. Baseball was my sport. Introduction to sports was when we moved to I moved into the projects. That's when I was introduced to sports. So I was 9 or 10 years old, but we were out, we out playing tackle football. You get hit, on the basketball court, you run by the creek, you get hit in the creek, So from that, I tried to play Pop Warner, but I broke my foot my first time going out, so I didn't get to play. The second time, I almost broke my ankle. So that was my Pop Warner history. So I didn't play middle school. I didn't play to 10th grade. I played baseball. I played basketball. I ran track. Once I got to high school, I played quarterback. I played receiver. I played defensive back. Originally signed to go to college in, University of Pittsburgh. Transferred to Southern University. And from there, man, that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. I got involved with sports because of the male figures that were in my life. Very influential. They saw something in me that I didn't know that I had. Growing up, you just like, man, you just out there, you're playing. You don't realize if you're better than someone. It's really just fun for me. Once I got to high school, that's where the separation started. And you can see it, but if I'm being honest, I still didn't understand it because I didn't play it to be dominant. I played to have fun. I'm out there with my friends, guys I grew up with. I think the reality for me is when I started getting scholarship offers. That was my reality. Heavily recruited coming out of North Carolina. Like I said, ended up going to Pittsburgh. Johnny Major, stayed there, transferred to Southern University. Played football and basketball in college, like you said. And you're right, man. I have a problem speaking about me, so please forgive me. But as you stated, some of the accolades were good accolades. But I think for me, the best way for me to start it off is I thank my teammates. I think people like you. I think, our D-line, our O-line, our running backs. Because, Scott, we played with a plethora of talent, man. We had some talented guys on that field and in that school, man. So from that, man, it was really iron sharpens iron because I know when I transferred to Southern University, I wasn't ready physically nor mentally. Even coming from Pittsburgh, because it's a different style of football in Southwestern Athletic Conference. So I had to sit out my first year because Pittsburgh didn't release me. So in that time, I was just working out. I was getting bigger. I was getting faster. I was getting stronger, but I was learning as well. So my introduction, was really about my little league coach, was really about my high school coaching, Coach Wilkes, Rodney McCoy, Jack Cameron, Coach Hall, Coach Wynn, Coach Poe. I just remember those guys just instilling in me, and challenging me, hey man, you can do this. Why you do this? And I'm just like, I don't care about none of that stuff. Because I didn't care about it. It was just, I'm just playing. Once I got to college, I had a different plan. I didn't have a plan B. I knew I wanted to go play professionally. I knew I had to graduate. I knew I had to get my mom out of a particular circumstance. And, met you in college. And, man, just the work that we put in collectively, individually, as teammates, as individuals. But, you and I worked out a lot together, so you taught me a lot. You pushed me, you made me excel. So that's pretty much, the journey. If you want to speak out about accolades, I mean, I'm not downplaying it, but like, I don't know. I just have a hard time speaking about me. But like you said, I was 3 times all conference, 2 times all American, Navy College all American, Navy all American. I was athlete of the year. I mean, there's a few other things, all swag for basketball, 14th in the nation in steals, made all conference in basketball, fortunate enough to go, to the professional rankings from, free agency. I thought I was going to get drafted because when I came out, I was like ranked ninth in the country. So I'm thinking I'm going to get drafted, but I didn't. Coming from Southern, I went free
That's
agent,
how they
went to
do it.
Miami. That's how they do it, Doc. You get good talent for cheap. It's cheap labor around here, Doc. It's cheap labor. But I'm grateful because I had the opportunity to go to that next level to play. I got released from there, ended up coming back to finish school. I got my degree. And then I went to Canadian Football League, made a great career, from Canada. I was able to go to Philadelphia, go to San Francisco, but I went back to Canada, finished my career there. And man, just really enjoyed it, enjoyed the journey, enjoyed the people that I met, enjoyed the people that I played with, because that's what it's about. That's the brotherhood. It's the camaraderie you build in that locker room. That's guys that you go to war with, and those guys you pretty much lay your life on the line for. You're in the trenches. You're doing things together. They become the second family, other than your immediate family, and just learning the lessons of being a professional really was important to me. It was really one of the things that I had to really understand. It was really one of the things that I had to really take seriously. So from that, that was my introduction. That's a little brief history of me. So let's hear about you, my man.
You know what, man? It's definitely that's the beautiful thing about sports. Period. Team sports and football in particular is because you learn to become accountable, and you have to rely on others for your success as well, which is translates over into the real world, which we'll get into that in a bit. But that's the beautiful thing about football is I need that guy. I need my quarterback to play well as a wide receiver. I need my offensive line to block, for my quarterback. And so, that's like I said, man, that's the beautiful thing about football and just team sports in general. You need your brothers or your sisters, if it's females, to come through, and you depend on each other. I mean, for me, I grew up in Compton, California, in the in the 90s, like mid 80s to 90s and whatnot, and kind of the height of the gang violence, drugs, or whatnot. So a lot of distractions. I think when you grow up in an environment like that, you tend to be more violent than normal. You don't understand that until you leave. But football and sports was just a way of life. That's what we did. I had two great parents. My dad played sports growing up, and that was just what we did. My brother's 5.5 years older than me, so he played football, baseball, basketball, and ran track. So that's what I expected to do. And so you always you're running behind your big brother. And so, he started lifting weights. I'm lifting weights, low key. So you want to do, and it's funny thing is I'm right-handed, but I bat left-handed because my brother's left-handed. So from, copying him. And so, we would play flag football in the street. We take the little socks and you hang it, and you run it. But if you're on the sideline on that curb, on that grass, you're getting hit. Get that old Roscoe. And so I seen many guys take a beat on that curb. So it was just a way of life. I was fortunate to have a really good household. And, a dad that spent a lot of time with me, going to batting cages, sending me to camp. They sent me to UCLA camp for a week. I think I was like 9 years old, and at that time, we were going 3 a days at the camp. Right. And it was just like you said, we just love to play. At that time, I just love to punish people, and make plays, and, so play pop. Unlike yourself, I did play Pop Warner, started at 8 years old, and then started off playing running back, moved to quarterback, and played quarterback all the way up to high school. Got recruited by most of the Pac-10 schools, even some schools out in the Midwest like Michigan and whatnot. But the thing is, when you grow up in the inner city, you're not really taught at that time how to play the game in terms of getting you prepared for the SAT and ACT, which is now you don't have to take it, So, I mean, can you imagine how many athletes, would have flourished because without that test, right? So now you don't have to take the test. And so I took the test and missed it by 10 points. And then when I took it the second time, my parents got me a tutor. So my score jumped by, I think, like 100 points. And they said that's kind of not usual. It's not something that's normal. And so it was under review. Then all the schools start backing off because I didn't understand then, but I understand now. Time is money. If he, it's next man up. If he
Absolutely.
got some, if there's some issues with his test or whatnot, we going to get Joe Blow over here, and that's just the way it is, right? So all the big schools start backing off. I actually started practicing with Compton Community College, and quickly moved into the starting quarterback role, and then I was in talks with Southern because my cousin, as you know, Fred Bailey, we all went to school together. You played with him. We were talking. We were talking back and forth with them. And I was saying to myself, I was like, man, I'm not trying to go to Louisiana. But at the end of the day, just, through my experiences here, again, growing up in Compton in the LA area, so much shooting and gun violence, friends getting killed. And I was just tired of it. I said, I got to get out of here. So I said, I got to take what I can get.
Absolutely.
And yeah, right. And so, and it was a blessing, and got there. And, I wasn't prepared for college. Didn't have study habits. You would hear your parents, my mom say, you need to study, and we just did enough to get by. Just focused on sports, which is the wrong thing, opposite from what you did. You were a little bit more mature than I was. And so when I got to school, it took me a while to get going academic wise, because I wasn't prepared. So, the first year was very, very rough. Wasn't eligible to play, and then had to wait. And then as I ended up playing, we ended up playing our first year with 96 together, right? And so, which was a blessing. I remember, yeah, you were with me when they told me I was eligible to go. Yeah, we were just coming off that hardship that summer, and that's another story. That's another story for another episode.
Absolutely.
And yeah, man. And so you got to look. So now it's like I was a quarterback, and then I said, you know what? What's my best chance to get on the field? Right. And so I did play some receiver in high school. And so ended up going to receiver and wasn't ready physically or mentally. But that year under my belt definitely helped. And then, my senior year got a chance to play some in my career was very, very strange, so to speak. Only had, I think like 12 catches, 12 career. This is crazy. When I tell us like 12 career catches, I think maybe 3 touchdowns, made some big plays in college, but it was just, that's what it was, right? I'm not going to point the finger and say, it was because of this, it was because of that. That's what it was. I think at some point you have to point at ourselves. And I think I said to myself, if I get a chance to play professional football, I'm not going to go to the coaches and, complain about this and that. I'm just going to outwork everybody in the room. And I think I was already a hard worker, but then I became obsessed. And so that's what I did. And it ended up, turning into a, 10-year professional football career, a couple years in the NFL, a few years in the CFL, arena football, XFL, NFL Europe. So I got a chance to play in pretty much every league. This game has taken me all over the world. Got a chance to go to NFL Europe when I was with the San Francisco 49ers. Spent 5 months in Dusseldorf, Germany. So got to see Amsterdam, Barcelona, Spain, Glasgow, Scotland, right? To go to, and so places that I never thought I would go. And yeah, it really changed me forever going and seeing those places because it opened me up to a whole nother world. And I'm forever grateful for the game of football. It's done more for me than, I couldn't ask for anything else, man. That's a little bit about, my career. We'll get into, we got plenty of episodes to kind of dive into some other stuff. Yeah. But what we want to kind of get into is, one of our slogans is locker room to reality, where that's where the real game starts, after all the lights are off and the fans are gone, no more autographs, no more locker room with your brothers, all the stories you can, in your locker room, telling all the crazy stories and just having a ball, all that's gone. And now you got to adjust to the real world. Like I always say, playing professional football is like living in it's like a fantasy world. Absolutely. It's not real life. It's a blessing, but it's definitely it's a fantasy world. Everything's, everything's done for you, for your team. they got somebody, I remember when I went to sign with the, Redskins, I had to do nothing. Hey, how much you want to spend on the house? 200 grand. Okay, here you go. We got something. You know me as a dude. I'm a single dude. Yeah. It's a townhouse. Yeah, that'll do. Let's do it. How much we putting down? How much you put? Let's roll. So that's it, man. Yeah. Just and so whereas the individual in the real world, that ain't how it happening. That's not how it's going down. You have to do everything yourself. But yeah, man, talk about life after football and that journey. How's that been for you?
Man, I retired in of 2006. Many people don't know this, so this would probably be my only time really sharing this. But you're absolutely right. Locker room to reality. So in 2006, that was my last year playing in Saskatchewan, but I ended up losing a child. I was married at the time, and me and my ex-wife had a stillborn, and I never recovered from that. Because we went through the complete process. She was pregnant, so she had to have the actual birth. But the baby had already passed away. I never recovered from that. So
boy
for
or girl? Boy or girl?
It was a girl. Her name, yeah. And I can't put it into words, but all I can share with you is that was my first time that I could identify with mental health because I had no answer. I lost the passion to play. I lost the love to work out. As honest as transparent I can be, I can't tell you one thing about that last season I played in. It's only 3 things I remember in that season. 1 was, of course, the passing. 2 was at the end of the season, I felt the game leave me. Like literally, we lost to go to the championship to BC, Vancouver. But as I walked in the locker room and I sat down, I felt the game leave me. I literally felt it just leave my body. And the third thing was after the season, my oldest daughter, which is Deja, I didn't go outside for like 42 days.
Damn.
And she said to me, she's like, Daddy, why you don't go outside? And I was like, what do you mean? And then it clicked on me. All I was doing was shooting pool, drinking wine, playing video games. That's all I was doing. But to me, that was normal. But I did not go outside for like 42 days. So that was my first rough patch after. After that, I felt I had to get away from Canada because it just reminded me of my child. I lived in Texas, Houston, Texas, and I came, but I couldn't find a job. Now I have a degree, but I've been out the workforce since 94. You see what I'm saying? I hadn't had a job since 1994. So it was like, what do you do? It's an identity crisis. It's a financial differentiation. And, because, we're getting paid every week and we're making some pretty good money. So it goes from that to not receiving, not hearing the cheers, as you said, not hearing the, not seeing the camaraderie, not having your friends. It was quite different. Transition wise, it was one of the things that I battled with, whether it be my self identity, whether it was that I have enough value to go out here and find a job to be sustainable for my family. So that's what catapulted me to start my first business in Forex trading. So from that, I did that. I coached I went back to my alma mater. I coached for 2.5 years, did well there, got into administration, in the school system. But the children ran me off, man, because the attitudes of some of these children, I couldn't take it, man. In that school building, I'm a little older, but I have old school morals as far as when an adult tells you something, this is what it is. They want to talk back. They want to become defiant. And I had a situation when I'm in the class and this kid says something to me and I'm just, and he made it very clear and I heard it. He's like, what you going to do, Mr. Mitchell? You can't make me do nothing. And Scott, I don't know. Man, I was like, knock yo. So I looked at him. I'll never forget his name was Corey. I'll never forget him. I'll never forget this. He was like, what you gonna do, Mr. Mitchell? You can't make me, you can just raise your voice. You can't make me do nothing. I said, Corey, you absolutely right. As I'm sitting here talking to you on this camera right now, Scott, I looked at him. I said, thank you. I walked to the back of that school. I got my keys. I got my backpack. I walked back to that cafeteria. I shook his hand and I said, thank you. And I quit. I walked to
Mm,
the front office and I told the principal, I said, I quit right now. That's a true
mm.
story. I quit right now. And I
This
walked
was a
out.
high. What kind of school was this?
It was called I don't want to use the school name because I don't want
Oh,
you
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
it
yeah.
was a high school. It
It
was
was a
a
high school. Okay,
public private high school.
got you.
I'll say
Yeah.
that. It was a public private high school. Yeah, man. I went to that it was called school leader at the time. And I went to him. I said, hey man, I'm done. He was like,
Mm.
what? I said, I quit right now. I walked right out the door. Like I was done. So from that, it's been topsy turvy, trying to find the footing, trying to find your purpose, trying to find your drive, trying to
Mm.
find what you enjoy.
Mm.
So from that, I opened up a prep school. I was, I think, the second person in the state of Texas to open up a prep school. From that, I did an online college, community athletics. From that, I did some other businesses for myself and just really just try to take care of my family, man. But that
Mm.
transition was difficult because, as you stated earlier, we are spoiled. I'm sorry. I mean, that's just what it is. It's like
Yeah.
everybody think, oh man, it's just a game. Now, a lot goes into that game, and the preparation of that goes into it. But yeah, I mean, we have the ability to do things and get things that normal society can't do. I
It is what
mean,
it is.
can't be mad at me. That's just, hey, that's the profession I was in.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. So in doing
Yeah.
that, a lot came with it, but it goes back to what you said, the maturation and the accountability.
Mm.
If you weren't mature enough, you wasn't gonna make it because you
Mm.
get lost in the sauce. You did.
Mm.
You got women all around. You money around, you got things happening in your life, things happening around you that
Mm.
can be very influential, good and bad, you
Mm.
know. And
Mm.
my transition, I'm grateful for because it taught me, another side of perseverance. Because now I'm not in the spotlight. Now I'm not, dressing up. Even though you're having this helmet, people really don't know who you are. So I had to figure out who I was now
Mm.
as an adult.
Mm.
Because from 14, 15, I've been playing this game.
Mm.
Now I'm 35, 36 years old. So 20 years, 25 years of playing this sport, and now it's taken from you. How do you
Mm.
fill the void?
Mm.
How do you take that next step? And it's like, damn, what do I do now? Because my body is used to working out. My body is used to getting up. My body is used to eating a certain way. My body is used to conditioning. My body is used to timing. My body is used to particular nutrition, and now it's all gone. So for me, all I can say, man, where I'm at now as far as transitional wise, I mean, I have a great job taking care of my kids. I have no complaints, man. The transition
Mm.
of it has been a journey. Through
Mm.
that journey, unfortunately, things happen in life. I went through a divorce, and I can say if it's my fault. I don't know if it's my fault or not, but I know it was just one of the things that came with the territory. Because now, even as a spouse, you're not getting the same things. We don't have the same budget. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, it's reality. It's and then
Mm.
bills coming. You ain't making that pile of bread no more. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? You have to be more responsible. You have to be that much more attentive to what
Mm.
you're doing collectively on a daily basis.
Mm.
Where playing professional sports, yeah, it's a job,
Mm.
but it's one of the best jobs I've ever had.
Oh, for sure.
One of the best
Yeah.
jobs I've ever had. Even through college, like you said, those hardships we went through, but prepared me for what's to come. And having particular friends like yourself, I can, the Grover Harrisons, the John Dixons, the Julian Brooks, the Chris Whites, the Tori Ingrams, the Channings, Channing Warner, Steve Wofford, Fred Bailey, Fred Austin, these were guys that
Fred Austin.
yeah, yeah, yeah. These are guys that,
I ain't heard that
helped
name in a minute.
me. Yeah, helped me, through my journey of college. And it was
Mm.
just some good, some bad. But one thing that I can truly say is I loved my teammates. I didn't
Mm.
want to let you guys down. It was those things. But as an adult now, I am glad I went through those things because
Mm.
it's no situation I think I can be in today or
Mm.
beyond today that I'm not ready for.
Yeah.
As far
Yeah.
as being a father, there's no blueprint to parenting.
No.
As far as being a husband, there's no blueprint to marriage. As far as being a friend, I just go by particular things that I believe in. I'm not gonna mess over you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna piss on your back and tell you it's raining. I'm not gonna,
Mm-hmm.
do anything that I feel I don't want done to me.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that
Yeah.
goes. But the transitional, man, it's a long road for some,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
once again, you're jumping here, you're doing this. I tried all these businesses. Some were successful, some failed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tried to get lost in travel. I tried to get lost in creating things. It was a lot, man, because it's like I'm chasing that high. I'm
Mm-hmm.
chasing that next level of execution, competition, you know, everything that game gave me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I can truly say once I was done with it, I never wanted to go back and play.
Yeah.
You know how some people
Yeah.
like, once I was done, I never wanted to put back on a pair of cleats.
Mm-hmm.
And we, like you said, I got some story for another day. Damn, Scott tried to kill me in Canada one time, but that's a story for another day. But
Yeah.
other than that, man, the transition has been what it needed to be for me and my
Yeah.
family. It's allowed me to stay positive. It's allowed me to continue to build relationships, be resourceful, but also be comfortable, not
Mm-hmm.
competent. I mean, not. I didn't mean to say not competent, comfortable, but not complacent.
Complacent.
Yes, and so so I'm still striving, I'm still reaching, I'm still doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel good about it, man. I don't have anything where I can sit back and be like, "Woe's me,"
Mm-hmm.
and I can truly say throughout my journey, from as a youth to now, everything I've ever asked for, I've received it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I've ever asked for, I've received it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I know that's coming from a higher being, man. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything where I can be like, man, this meeting great people throughout my journey as a professional. Just some of my teammates, man. We still talk to this day. That they're brothers for life.
Yeah.
That's been my transition as of right now, and
Mm-hmm.
just grateful for it. Like I said, business venture, starting dreams podcast with my guy, and
Mm-hmm.
just looking for bigger and better things to come.
Definitely, man. That's awesome. That's the
Yeah,
thing. That's the thing is main thing is being happy. We, you hear it from wealthy people, and some people say money ranks right there with oxygen, which is I think money allows you to have fun and be and feel and have a more comfortable life,
gives
but
you the
it
freedom.
doesn't make you happy. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. Now, I
It's
like
good
to
to
say
have. Now it's
it's good
good
to
to
have.
have.
It's good
Yeah,
to have.
you can't do nothing without it. You know what
But
I'm
but
saying?
but if you think money is going to make you happy and you're not already a happy person, because all it's going to do is highlight what you really are.
That's all it's gonna do.
That's all it's going to do, right? And so, but it was, I was thinking when you talked about right getting, going through divorce, and which is, same here. And I'll get into my story, and it's like I was looking at something the other day. Divorce rates are 70%, and that's for another show, another episode. 70%, but it's something that we run to. We just got to get married, but that's 70% is that's a high percentage. You know what I mean?
Hi, Doc.
So yeah, that's high.
That's high, bro.
I mean, you line up 10 people,
Ain't number
7 of
three
them,
left.
ain't 3 gonna make it.
Yeah,
And
it's tough.
every week you see them, woo, we getting married. I'm like, all right. That's where the work begins, though, and
It
that's for
does.
here again. That's for another
That's
time.
yeah, buddy.
We're gonna get it. And that's the thing. Like, we both have obviously sports background, but that's
Right.
we're gonna be bringing on some amazing guests in the future. We're gonna be bringing on relationship experts talking about those things because I think that's definitely a void just in society that needs to be talked about more.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking about like a number of things, right? Insurance, finances, right? Things that people aren't knowledgeable about, and it's going to help us too. It's going to
Absolutely.
help us do research and kind of go educate ourselves, right? Gives accountability, things of that nature. But for me, my last year playing was 2009. I was playing arena football in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, and actually Atlanta, Georgia. But then I finished in Albany, Georgia, with a good friend of ours, Derek Stingley, senior. And so he was the head coach at the time. So that was cool to go play for him. And after that season, I was dating my ex-wife now. I was dating her, and so I would go back and forth, and they ended up having a lockout. Their PA couldn't come to agreement with salaries and different things, and so it was a lockout in 2010, and then 2011 the league started back up. Obviously, they dropped the salaries, a pretty fair amount, which is I never played for money anyway, but it was like now I'm in a serious relationship. The whole 10 years for me playing professional football, like I wasn't in any relationships, right? And so, which I did that for a reason. I just didn't want to be I don't know how you. Man, I commend you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I commend you. And right?
Yeah,
and so, because I mean, it was just I'm a football junkie, so to speak. I'm a gym rat. And I'm, when it comes to those things, I'm pretty selfish.
Right.
So I just couldn't see myself, being able to give myself to someone. And so I just decided, I'm just going to keep, it's just going to be me.
Right.
And right. And I kept it that way. And then, but here again, now being in a serious relationship and with the lockout, my cousin Fred Bailey was like, man, just get in the car business, man. You should try it. It's good money, blah, blah, blah. I've never sold anything. I had some scouting opportunities. I had a scouting opportunity. I talked to John Snyder, who's now the general manager for the Seahawks. He was talking to me about coming up to Green Bay, being a scout. And then Mike Kelly, who was he was a scout with Mike. Yeah, he was just down here actually coaching the UFA team.
I saw that. Yeah, he came down. Yeah, I saw he went up to the Eskimos practice. I seen him and G-Bro take a picture.
Yeah. He brought me over to speak to their team. It was a good experience. They had all the different several different countries out here.
Gotcha.
So it was cool to see. But yeah, Mike was a scout with the Redskins, and then he was my offensive coordinator at the XFL. So he actually had just got the head coaching job in Winnipeg. And he called me up, wanted me to come be a scout for Winnipeg. But I had moved around so much playing football. I just tired, man, from moving like that.
Yeah.
And so, unlike yourself, I did think about like, man, because I could do it. And like physically you could too. And mentally, I was still there as well because of the way it ended. Right. We had a lockout. And realistically, I said to myself, I'll probably play another 2 years or so. And end up getting into the car business at Kia West Edmonton here in Edmonton, Alberta. And first month, man, beat everybody, made some good money. So I'm like, whoa. And it got to the point, man, where I start making six figures. And when the next year when the league came back, I was rolling, had momentum, and I'm like, and now it's different, right? Because now you're not making that same money.
Absolutely.
And so I was just like, do I want to risk, And here's the thing, I said to myself, for me to even question that means it's time to walk away.
It's time to walk away.
Because there was a time where it was no question. I don't care which, because I remember when I was my first year playing professional football, which is arena football for the Iowa Barnstormers in Des Moines, Iowa. Shout out to the Barnstormers, gave me my first shot. That was a beautiful city. And they, I told that principal, at school I was teaching at,
I'm gone. I'm gone. 2 peas in a bucket. I'm out of here.
She's like, she said, are you quitting? I was like, no, I said, I'm going to pursue my dream.
Got to go, baby.
I got to go. And so, yeah, it wasn't even a question, man. I was out but no, so 3 years selling, after, and, got to the point where, I was high volume sales guy and, doing 25 to 30 a month. And then opportunity presented itself. They moved me in, as a sales manager and it was good. It was good. Right. And then, got an opportunity after that to be a sales manager at Mercedes-Benz for 2 years. And that was the thing. I was at Kia for, 6 or 7 years. And, but when the opportunity at Mercedes-Benz presented itself, I just said to myself, I was like, man, how many Black men get an opportunity to be a manager, to manage a Mercedes-Benz store. It just doesn't come around. And it felt right. I was working with one of my guys, Jordan Clark, who was our finance director when I was at Key West Edmonton, guy I trusted. And it was time to move on. It was time to move on because, and you learn things about yourself. I'm not the type of person, I'm not built to stay stagnant. Like I have to keep growing, right? And it went off the rails to whole another thing, I learned about myself, but you have to keep growing in all facets of your life. And I've learned that recently, even with relationships, we got to keep growing, man. If we're not, what are we doing? Like I said, nothing sits still, you got to keep moving. And so, was there for a couple years, sales manager, then I got an opportunity to be a sales manager at a Chef store for a couple years. And me and Fred got to reconnect and work together at a Nissan store. And so I was in the car business for 13 years and at the dealership level. And then a good friend of mine presented an opportunity, the company I'm with now, which is called Signal Technologies / Automotive. We import vehicles from Canada to the US. We finance exporters. We're our own registered importer, so we bring vehicles in for exporters. And we have a live marketplace, which is my main job, is to distribute these vehicles to different dealerships. And so it's very, very challenging, but I love it. And there's no ceiling is another thing I love. It's one of those things like football. I have to depend on my teammate and, on a daily basis to come through for me. And just like they have to depend on me. Right. So I can say the transition from that standpoint in the workforce has been pretty good. Right. No complaints. I think from the mental standpoint, walking away from the game, it hasn't been as difficult because I still play flag football and touch football, playing different tournaments, playing leagues. I'm now running competitive track. So I'm trying to keep that void field, that adrenaline, those competitive juices. But nothing compares to playing in front of 100,000 people, 80,000 people. Nothing compares. It's just nothing. It's just a euphoria that it's hard to come by. And I think many athletes who've been where we've been, constantly look for that. But it's pretty much, it's almost impossible to feel. You can come close in some things, but I think when you learn to, what I had to do was learn to put the same effort I did in, on the football field, my training, into other aspects of my life. And when I did that, things started to blossom for me. It's been it's been challenging at times, but I always say that if I knew what I knew now, I would have had counseling when I finished playing, because you wonder why you react certain ways, why you do certain things, why we are the way we are. And I think definitely it affected my last relationship, my marriage, because I was still chasing that high.
Yep.
That lifestyle, and it's not easy to let go. But yeah, no, man, through the grace of God, we still here, and we got which means I got a chance and a choice.
Come on now.
That's all you can ask for.
That's all you can every day, Doc.
That's all you can ask for,
the
man.
OG said it. Jay Prince said
Jay Prince.
Every
day.
Chance and a choice, Doc.
Chance and a choice. That's all you can ask for, man. And as long as you wake up and you see that ceiling, shit, we here again.
Get to it.
Get to it, man. Yeah, man. So that's a little bit about my transition. The people, they'll get to know more and more about us as each episode
Absolutely.
goes by. We don't want to give them all the juice.
Come on,
obviously we got to, but obviously we got to tight on time too.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, man, we're gonna ask you go ahead and take us home and wrap up this first episode, man, of the Dreams Podcast.
Well, man, thank you for sharing. Thank you for your transparency, and hopefully, as we continue this journey, man, we'll continue to learn even more about one another, but also being able to help. Because you touched on some things, like you said, it's going to be different topics and episodes that we bring about. But the mental health is so strong, the counseling is so strong, the chase is so strong. Because if you're not careful, you'll continue and just
Hmm.
Spiral. You're going down the rabbit hole. Congratulations on your new relationship. Congratulations on
Appreciate
where
it.
you are right now. Congratulations on your job. Um, and it's not easy. The
Hmm.
thing about it, man, is like, I'll say this: temporary inconvenience for permanent change. That's I get that from my this young lady. Her name was Gwen Harris. That's my aunt, man. I love her unconditionally, but she helped me in my transitional period because I was like you. I felt like I was stuck, you
Hmm.
know. So I'm just grateful for those words, those prayers, and for our dream podcast, Dream to Reality, man. It's really, we're hoping, our goal is to make sure we are giving our viewers, our community, ourselves, the positive things to keep putting one foot in front of the other. It's not easy. It's not going to be something that's going to be done overnight, but the reality of it is it can be done.
Hmm.
Prayer with patience, perseverance, with the community, having the right people around you, man. So, just like us, we jumped out on Faith with Dreams podcast. We're going to continue to live by faith. For me, I'm just astounded, from this first one of many. So for Dreams, as we stated, man, for me, I'm excited about what's to come.
Yeah,
We got a lot of stories, man.
I know.
We got a lot of stories. So I'm just, once we start, getting our traction and getting the viewers and sharing our
Hmm.
message, man, I'm ecstatic about what's to come. So for
Hmm.
me, man, I want to say, and I'm gonna give the mic back to you, but I just want to say thank you, for
Hmm.
our first, one of many.
Hmm.
I want to thank you, as I stated, for just being able to be transparent, being able to be vulnerable, because it
Hmm.
takes vulnerability for growth,
Yep.
and it does, man. And so
Hmm.
seeing the man that you've become, seeing the father that you've become, man, like I say, I love you, bro. That ain't, I don't want to use the words for anybody else, but that's just
Hmm.
me. I love you like a brother. And like I said, for Dreams Podcast, Locker Room to Reality, this will be our first one of many. And Scott, I'll let you say some closing words if you choose to, man.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited, man, and definitely being vulnerable and definitely causes you to grow. I've learned that in my current relationship. I've learned so much over the last 2 years, what it takes to be in a relationship, what it in a friendship as well. Through
Absolutely.
this relationship, it's opened my eyes to staying in contact with certain people, checking on certain people like yourself, and stay close to the people you love and check on them. And so I'm definitely, man. It's going to bring a lot. This podcast is going to bring a lot of people together. It's going to bring some things out of us that we didn't even know that was in us. I'm excited for the growth. That's the way I'm wired. I know that's the way you're wired, and I think we're going to bring the best out of each other. And yeah, it's definitely wouldn't want to do this with anyone else. I couldn't do it without you, and I appreciate you and thank you for doing this with me. And it's all love. So
Absolutely.
it's yeah, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
with
yeah,
that being
yeah.
said, man, we can take it on home.
Take it on home, man. So we from Dream Podcast, from us to you, man. Thank y'all for listening. Stay tuned for more to come. Entertainment, excitement, some
Hmm.
news, some laughs, some cries, but I just hoping you guys enjoy what's to come, man. So from me to you, I thank you, and we're signing off.
Signing
Peace.
off. Peace.